Hello my fiber friends, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My name is Monica. I go by Mika Knits here on YouTube and over on Instagram. This is the Worsted Witch podcast. This is my little crafty corner of YouTube where I get to share with you all of the fun things that I am making. If you've never been here before, mainly I knit, but I also do some crochet and a few other needleworks like cross stitch and things like that. Yeah, I've got a lot to get into today. It has been a little while since I made a video. I apologize for that. A lot of things get in the way of me filming, and yeah, so I apologize for not making a video until now. But I did want to make a video and share with you some of my finished objects, some of the works in progress that I still have going on, and a few of the things that I purchased at a yarn festival that happened in early July. So let's go ahead and jump right into the video. We've got a lot to talk about today. I did want to begin this video by giving you guys a little bit of a health update. The last time I talked to you, if you've never been here before, probably want to go back and check out my last podcast video from about 3 months ago, where I explained, what kind of health struggles I have going on and how I found out I have what I have. So if you haven't watched that video, I would suggest going back, and it's all explained in the first half hour. But yeah, so anyway, so as a health update, the last time I left you guys, I had just found out basically that I have uterine fibroids. I didn't know how many I had. I didn't know where they were located. All I know is that I had them. I also found out I have what's called a teratoma tumor, or a soft tissue cyst on my right ovary. And so the last time I left you, that's basically what I explained that I have. Since then, like I said, it's been about 3 months. Since then, not a whole lot has happened. I was going to visit, I have seen a few doctors, so I was going to visit my regular doctor, regular in terms of my regular OBGYN doctor, who determined that I had the uterine fibroids. I went to go see her, and I have an incredible doctor. I'm really very, very lucky to have that doctor, but I went to go see her, and we did the basic kind of annual exam, and then as I was telling her the symptoms that I have, like minus the infection that I had, because I had an infection, which is why I went into the hospital. Again, I explained that all in my last video, but basically my symptoms were exactly the same minus the infection and the elevated resting heart rate. So I explained to her that I was still having all of these symptoms, bloating, constipation, feeling full really fast, just a whole bunch of other acid reflux, a whole bunch of other random things. It could be anything really, but I just wanted to make sure I didn't still have the infection. And I was explaining to her all these things, and she determined, being the great doctor that she is, she determined that she was going to go ahead and refer me to a gynecologic oncologist. Now, if you don't know what that is, a gynecologic oncologist is an oncologist rather is a cancer doctor. They're doctors that specialize in cancers and cancer treatment. A gynecologic oncologist is a cancer doctor who specializes in cancers of the female reproductive area. And so I went ahead and she ordered me to have a couple more tests. Basically, she had me take a CA-125 blood test, which I'm not in the medical field. I'm not a medical professional. I don't know exactly what CA-125 tests, or what it is in the blood. I don't know if it's a protein or an enzyme, or I don't know. But she had me do that test. Typically, she explained to me that elevated rates. Anything outside of the normal range of CA125 in your blood cells can indicate malignant cancer. So they wanted to check that. And then she also sent me in for an MRI so that when I visited the oncologist, that he could get a better idea of exactly what I had going on there. And she also said that the I thought this was really cool. Maybe some of you guys out there won't think it's really cool, but I thought it was really cool that when you have an MRI, a lot of the times to a trained eye, doctors and whoever else can actually look at an MRI and sometimes even get an idea of whether or not a tumor or cyst or mass is malignant or not. And I thought that was really, really cool. So I don't know, I just thought that was a cool bit of information. I didn't know that they could do that. But anyway, so I went in for the MRI, which was an interesting experience. I've never had an MRI before, but that was kind of cool. I sat there for like a good half hour doing that, but they did an MRI of my pelvis with and without contrast, so that the oncologist could get a better idea of exactly what the situation was. And so I did that, and I visited the gynecologic oncologist that I was referred to about 2-ish weeks ago. And obviously before I visited the oncologist, I had a little bit of time before I saw him, and so I did some research. Obviously when you hear the cancer word, or when your doctor is referring you to an oncologist, it can be a little bit scary, and it can kind of get into your head a little bit. So for me, I was really interested to find out, based off of the symptoms that I explained to her that I had, like what kind of diagnoses or what type of cancer is she thinking that she wanted to check. And my doctor, mind you, said that she did not think that I had any type of cancer. It was basically something that she did to rule out any type of malignancy. She thinks that there is a very, very low risk for anything that I have to be malignant. So she just wanted to refer me and be safe to a cancer doctor and have everything ruled out going forward. So I didn't think that I had cancer. I wasn't like that nervous about it, but I did want to know more about the type that she thought I might have, and specifically that is ovarian. So I want to preface what I'm going to say with that I am not a medical professional. I am not a doctor. This is just all research that I have done myself, and if you are suffering from any of these symptoms or you're curious, I would say talk to your doctor and find out a little bit more. But this is just the research that I've done. So what I've learned about ovarian cancer is that there is a reason that they call this specific cancer the silent killer, or the disease that whispers. It is a disease in which it is a cancer rather, in which the symptoms, if you will, are very inconspicuous, and they can be attributed to a host of other ailments. So basically the symptoms are, you might not even think that they're a symptom. So basically the ones that I've mentioned before. So bloating is a really, really big one. Acid reflux is a symptom. Feeling full, a feeling of satiety, I don't know how to say that, a feeling of fullness quickly after you start eating. I think the biggest one is unexplained weight loss or weight gain, could also be a symptom. So, and there's obviously more than that. I'm not listing all of them, but those are just some of them. So as you can see, those symptoms are very, I mean, you could think that they're anything, really. So, you know, when we experience bloating, we don't automatically go, oh my gosh, that's ovarian cancer. We don't do that. It's very, very interesting to me anyway. It was very, very interesting to learn more about this specific cancer and the symptoms that a lot of women that experience this cancer have. And that was very, very interesting to me. So I learned a ton in the 2.5-ish weeks before I visited the oncologist, just to see, you know, just to learn more about it before I went in and talked to him. And so anyway, so I went in and talked to the gynecologic oncologist, who was very, very nice to me, and who said exactly what I thought that he would say, which is basically that he, as well as my regular OBGYN, think that the fibroids that I have, and he confirmed that I actually have 4 fibroids, which doesn't sound like a lot, but I'll explain a little bit about that. But he doesn't think that the fibroids and the cyst, the soft tissue teratoma tumor or cyst on my right ovary is, he doesn't think that either one of them is cancerous in any way. He thinks that there's a very low risk of any malignancy. However, the only way to 100% rule out cancer is to take everything out and have it biopsied and tested. So that is the plan. That is what we're going to do. But I learned a lot about specifically what I have going on. So the uterine fibroids that I have, I only have 4 of them. And like I said, that doesn't sound like a lot, because if you do research into uterine fibroids, a lot of women can have way more than that. So I only have 4, and so so there's only 4. However, 2 of the fibroids basically look like one big one, so they're kind of growing together, if that makes any sense. So some people say I have 3 fibroids and some say I have 4, but the oncologist said it's actually 4, and one of them just looks like 2. It's just kind of growing together. It's like a conjoined fibroid, if that makes any sense. So but that one is, those 2 are very, very large in diameter. They are 15.5 centimeters in diameter, which is about roughly 6-ish inches, a little over 5, almost 6 inches, right around there. So 15.5 centimeters though is quite large. So that's really big. And then I have 2 smaller fibroids as well that are not that big, probably like I think he said it was like something like 4 centimeters, and the other one is like 5 or something like that. So they're not very big or very painful, but there is that big one that is causing me a lot of abdominal pain, and so it is it does need to come out. And then I also have the soft tissue cyst on my right ovary. That is the only thing that he says he's not 100% sure about. The oncologist said that he's not sure if the soft tissue cyst is lying on top of my ovary or if it's inside of the ovary. He's not quite sure of that. He's not really going to know until he gets in there and sees what's going on. So that's the situation, but he did say that he doesn't think that anything is malignant or cancerous. So that's good news. So I don't think that I have cancer. He also sent me for an isoenzymes blood test or something like that. I don't really know what these blood tests test, but he said that if anything is high, that it could be a sign of malignancy, but all of my tests were normal, so that he thinks that there's nothing malignant, there's nothing cancerous. So we're good to go on the surgery. So we went ahead and scheduled a surgery for me to have all of these things taken out. My surgery is scheduled for September. Mid-September is my surgery. And I'm a little nervous. I'm kind of excited, but we'll see what happens. So basically, I'm going to be having the term for my surgery is called a laparoscopic myomectomy, which is basically a robotic surgery. So it's not an open surgery, but it is a robotic one. So they make some small incisions into your abdomen, and then the doctor will go in with a robot arms, basically, and take care of the fibroids and the cyst that I have in there. They cut it up into a bag and take it out. So yeah, so that's what I'm having done in September. That is the health update. And I will know more about my situation specifically, and more about what's going on with me health-wise after the surgery. I don't know how long after the surgery or how long everything takes to be tested or biopsied, but yeah, so that is what's going on with me health-wise. So everything is good, but I encourage you again, if you are experiencing symptoms yourself of whether it be uterine fibroids or ovarian cancer or anything having to do with the female reproductive area, I would suggest talking to your doctor about it and checking yourself out. Just making sure everything is good and that you're staying healthy. So yeah, so enough about the medical update and medical talk. Let's get into the fiber goodness. So I'm very excited to share with you today. I have got 3 finished objects. Woohoo! I've got 3 finished objects. I have 2, just kidding. I have 2 works in progress. Well, actually 3 works in progress. But I also have some actual progress on my perpetual work in progress, which is my slip Stravaganza blanket. I'm so excited to show it to you. So yeah, and then I also have some acquisitions to show you. If you remember the last podcast that I did, I talked about visiting some yarn festivals coming up here in the Washington State area. If you don't know, if you're new here, I live in Washington State, and not in Seattle, but I'm about an hour south of Seattle in a town called Puyallup, and there are a couple of fiber festivals happening. So the big one that me and my mom attended earlier this month in early July was called the Fiber Fusion Northwest Festival in Monroe, Washington, which is like way north. It's like over an hour from where we live. But we attended that, we visited that. I did do some filming. I did intend to post a video of our trip to the Fiber Fusion Northwest Festival, but and I do have some footage of it, but to be honest with you guys, I don't think I'm going to post the Fiber Fusion Northwest Festival video, just because I looked back on the footage and I was kind of bored. Like, it's just boring. It's not really like anything spectacular. So I don't think I'm going to post that video. Maybe next year. We'll see. But yeah. But I did purchase a lot at the Fiber Fusion Northwest Festival, and I want to show you what I purchased. So I have some acquisitions to show you. So let's go ahead and just jump into the video. Let's talk about it. Alright, so the first works in progress. This is the 2 heels and a toe vanilla sock that I finished. I will post a side video up here on the side so you can see it a little bit better, but I did these socks as a test knit. These were a test knit for Jody from Worsted Wolf Designs, called 2 Heels and a Toe vanilla socks. Basically a kind of different take and a different way to do socks 2 at a time. So I test knitted these socks for her. This is the yarn that I used here. This yarn is from Sock Obsession Yarns. They are based in Las Vegas, Nevada, which, if you don't know, that is where I was born and raised. I was born and raised in Las Vegas, Nevada. So I thought, oh, I'll just support some Vegas dyers. I thought that would be cool. So I purchased it from Sock Obsession Yarns. This colorway here, this is called This Could Have Been the Perfect Rainbow. That's the multicolor here. That's the variegated yarn. So I thought it was really, really cool. It looked like sherbet ice cream. It's so awesome. It's basically like a summer sock, and then the contrast color is just a plain white that I had on hand. I just already had it. I forget from where, but I had it in a mini skein, so I went ahead and used it as just the contrast color for this. The construction of these socks, like I said, they're called 2 Heels and a Toe, and it's a different take on how to do socks 2 at a time. So the construction for this is quite interesting, actually. I did post a picture of this over on my Instagram, so feel free to go ahead and check that out. But the construction is basically where you start one sock here. You start at the toe, and you knit all the way through up to the heel and the gusset, and then you do the leg here, or the cuff. So you knit all the way through, and then once you get to where you want your sock to end, you actually you put some lifelines in where you're going to cut, and then you continue on with the second sock, and you actually start here like this. So it basically looked like this, minus the minus the toe. So it basically was like this. So you start with the second sock. So you start at the toe again, and then you work another heel and gusset, and then work another leg or cuff. So that's basically what the sock looks like before you break it. And again, there's a picture over on my Instagram of what this looks like. So you basically knit both of the socks at the same time, and then you break the yarn right here in the middle, where the cuff is supposed to be for this one and where the toe is supposed to be for this one. So once you break the yarn, once you put your needle through where your lifelines are and cut and break the yarn, you then have 2 finished socks, and the rest, the only thing you have to do left is the toes on each sock and the cuffs on each sock. So yeah, that's basically the construction of this sock. It is kind of interesting. It looks kind of weird when you have it, but it's also kind of cool, and I like that because once you're done, you're like done, and all you have to do is knit the toes and the cuffs. So I really liked it. But yeah, this is the first finished object that I have to share with you, my 2 Heels and a Toe socks by Jody from Worsted Wolf Designs. Alright, and the second works in progress that I have to show you, I'm so excited about this, you guys. This is my Aurora cabin shawl. I will post a video here on the side so you can see it a little bit better, but this is my Aurora cabin shawl. She is finally done. I'm so excited. As you can see, I have not weaved in the ends, and I have not blocked her yet, but I wanted to show the finished object to you guys because she's so beautiful. So I finally finished the Aurora cabin shawl. I started this back in January of this year, and it just took me the longest to finish because this is a pattern by Stephen West of West Knits, and Stephen West likes to make shawls or designed shawls that are basically what he likes to call schlankets. They're huge, huge shawls. I will not be able to fit this entire shawl in the frame, so you won't be able to see how large it is, but it is huge, and it's really cool. So it starts basically at the middle here. You start with this here. You increase your stitches as you go, so the stitches just keep on increasing, and you do a few slip stitches designs, and by the time that you are ready to bind off, you bind off. If you do the chevron border like I did, you bind off a little over 1,000 stitches. I want to say it's like 1,080 or something like that. So it's a bind off that takes some serious yardage on your yarn and takes some serious time. I think it took me like 2 days to bind off this shawl, so that was crazy. Now, the last time I left you with this shawl, I was very nervous in terms of running out of yarn, and it happened to be that I did run out of yarn. So I ran out of yarn on 2 skeins. So as I was doing the chevron border here, I was using 2 specific colors. I don't know if you can see that very well, but I was using this sort of this color here. It's sort of a purpley brown. It's actually called prune. So I was using that color, and then I was using the beige color that's actually called mocha. So I was using those 2 colors for the chevron border, and then I ran out. I ran out of the beige color. I ran out of the mocha color, and I only had 1 row to do left of it. So I thought, ooh, I'm not going to buy another skein of yarn to just knit 1 row with it. So I'm going to go ahead and just use one of the other colors that I already have, or that I have more of. So I went ahead and knit 1 row in the light blue color. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that last row there, right here, that is done with both the beige color and the light blue color. So it looks a little bit different. It looks kind of cool, in my opinion. I actually quite like it, and I think it works. So I have 1 row that's just like a 2-tone color. And then when I was doing the actual bind off, I used this color here. This is called copper. It's sort of like that pinky, like a light pinky color. It's called copper, and I ran out of that one too. So, but I got all the way to the end. Let me see, which end is it that I bound off on. I think it's this one here. Yeah. So as I was doing the I-cord bind off, I ran out of the copper color, and again, I was basically done with the entire thing, and I only had like 6 more stitches to do in the copper color before I had to let it go before I was able to weave it in, and I completely ran out of it. As you can see, this is all I had left. So I went ahead and used another color that I had a little bit more of, and that happened to be the beige color. So that's the beige color here on the end of this I-cord bind off, just on this one little corner right here. So it's okay. I didn't want to buy extra yarn for just those small little bits, but overall I think it works, and I'm actually quite happy with it because it makes it extra special. It's makes it a little bit quirky, a little bit different, and very special. So that is my Aurora Cabin Shawl by Stephen West. I did forget to mention the yarn that I used. The yarn that I used, I purchased as a kit from StephenandPenelope.com, and it is the Momonoki Fine Sock Yarn. Sorry. That is what I used. There's 5 colors for this shawl. I used the colors mocha, teak, prune, silver, and copper in Momonoki Fine Sock Yarn. So yeah, that is my Aurora Cabin Shawl. Alright, the next finished object that I have to show you guys, it doesn't look like it's finished because it's... Alright, hopefully that's still working. I don't know, the little head off of my microphone just came off. So I hope you guys can still hear me. Anyway, the next finished object that I have to show you today is, it's going to look like it's not finished, but it is finished, I promise you. That is my Mount Pleasant tea by Pip and Pin Collective. So this is my Mount Pleasant tea. Again, this is going to look like it's not done, but it is done. Right here. Basically, it looks like it's not done because I still have it on the needles, as you can see, because the only thing I have to do is bind it off. So I just have to bind off these stitches right here on the collar, on the neck, and then I just have to weave in my ends and block it. But yeah, this is my Mount Pleasant tea by Pip and Pin Collective. The yarn that I used for this is by Kelborn Woolens. It's their Perennial Superwash Merino sock yarn with 25% Siri alpaca and 15% nylon. There's 497 yards in each skein. The color that I used is called Neon Coral. So it's a very bright pink. That is the color here. The Mount Pleasant is a really super simple and sweet crop top, as you can see. So it is a crop top like this. It looks really cute over like a skirt or jeans, you know, or I don't know. I just think it looks really cute. And so that's the one I did. It has this beautiful little lace pattern here. I don't know if you can see that. It's beautiful little lace pattern here at the end. And basically this little sweater is knit from the bottom up. So you actually start with this little lace pattern here and you knit all the way up through the body, and you knit the arms here while you're doing the body. As you can see, it looks very boxy. When you're looking at it, it looks very boxy because you basically knit straight up, and then once you're ready, once you're done with the body, you're happy with the length of where it's at, you go ahead and you just sew up the shoulders here, seam the shoulders together, pick up stitches to knit the arms with, and you're not really even knitting arms, you're just picking up stitches and knitting a like a 1x1 ribbing around the armholes. So that's all you're doing for the arms. You're not even really knitting like an entire sleeve or anything like that. I mean, I suppose you could, but you don't need to. So you're knitting just like a border, just the end of the arms, and then you just pick up stitches for the collar here like I did, and knit the collar and bind off the collar, and that's literally it. So that is the Mount Pleasant tea by Pip and Pin. This is the pattern that I wanted to make to wear and show off at the upcoming Flock Fiber Festival coming up in Seattle next weekend. Very exciting. And I said that I wanted to finish it before July started, because I started this pattern I think at the beginning of June. So it took me a little bit, didn't take me that long, but I finished it right before I saw the oncologist, so it was a couple of weeks ago. So I've been sitting with this collar not bound off for a couple of weeks. But whatever. Anyway, this is the Mount Pleasant tea. I am going to wear this at the Flock Fiber Festival because I'm gonna bind it off today and then get it set to blocking so that it looks nice, and then I'm gonna wear it at the Flock Fiber Festival. So yeah, that's my Mount Pleasant tea. That is my third finished object that I had to show you. Alright, the next that I have to share with you is works in progress. So let's get into works in progress. Sorry, it's really hot in here, so I'm sorry if you can hear like a buzzing sound in the back, but I have a fan on because it gets so hot in here in this particular room, and especially gets even hotter when I start filming, of course. So anyway, sorry. Works in progress. So I've got 3 works in progress to share with you today. The first one here is one that I started just a few days ago. This is the wave bag here. I'll pop a picture on the side of the end product or what this bag is supposed to look like. But this is where I am here. The wave bag is a pattern by Vester. Let me see. Vester by Crea. I'm not sure the name of the designer, but that is the design company name, Vester by Crea. It's just a small little carry tote bag kind of style. So this is the little bag that I'm making here. You start with this really cool increase on the bottom here, and then you move on to the wave pattern. I don't know if you can see the actual lace pattern that it is, because it is a lace pattern, but basically this is the wave bag by Vester by Crea. I am knitting this bag in one of my favorite yarns, actually. The yarn that I'm using is by Onling. I hope I'm saying that right. I know it's a Danish company and I don't speak that language, and so I'm bound to say it wrong, so I apologize. But the yarn that I'm using is Onling, number 21. It is the fingering weight kind of summery yarn. It has cotton and merino. It's a cotton and merino base, but there's more cotton than merino wool. So, but that's the yarn that I'm using. You only need 4 skeins of that yarn, and I'm just finishing up the first 2 here. The only reason you need 4 is because you actually hold the yarn double while you're knitting it. So that's the reason you need 4. So, but anyway, but this is my little wave bag. I had an idea to finish this bag as fast as I could and take it with me to the Flock Fiber Festival. Again, the Flock Fiber Festival is coming up here this coming Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I don't know if I'm going to have this little bag finished by then, but I might. So, you know, I've got a few more days. And if I do have it finished, I probably won't have it blocked. But to be honest, it's a bag, and I don't know that... I mean, I'm sure some people do block bags, but I don't find it necessary, to be honest. So I might not even have to block it, but I guess we'll see. But yeah, that is my first works in progress that I wanted to share with you. My little wave bag. Alrighty, so my next works in progress that I want to share with you is something that I started. I've had the yarn for this for quite a while, and this is one of the patterns that I've been wanting to start for a little while, that I said I would, and I've finally started it. This is the Emma and Kate's boyfriend sweater. This is a pattern by Dreamland Knits. Let me hold it up and show you where I'm at. This is obviously knit on straight needles, and so I can't really stretch it out too much to show you. But this is where I am here. The Emma and Kate's boyfriend sweater is a chunky, oversized knitted sweater, and it's really, really cute. Very, very basic, very, very classic looking. And I'm very excited to finally be knitting it. So this is my Emma and Kate's boyfriend sweater here. This is where I'm at. This particular design is actually knit in pieces, as you can see. So you start with a front and back panel. You knit those in pieces on size 8 straight needles. So I have very large, I think these are 13 inches, size 8 needles. So I have straights here that I'm using. And you knit the front panel, the back panel, and then you knit the 2 arms as well. And then you have to sew everything together when everything is knit in pieces like that, which doesn't bother me. I don't mind sewing everything together. So I'm very happy to finally be knitting this, like I said. And I've gotten pretty far with it. I haven't picked it up in about a week here, so it's been sitting for a little bit. But But yeah, this is my Emma and Kate's boyfriend sweater. It's just begun and it is just starting, but it is a very, very simple pattern too. These little designs here are all just, none of them are cable. There will be a small little cable that I have to do right after this one, but it's nothing crazy. So this is a really nice beginner pattern if you're looking for just a beginner sweater pattern to do that's not in the round, that you can just do on straight needles here. If you're looking for something like that, this is a great pattern to start with because it's very, very simple. So yeah, that is the Emma and Kate's boyfriend sweater. The yarn that I'm using, so much of that yarn because I just bought extra, but I love this yarn. I'm basically using very inexpensive yarn for this. I'm using the Drops Alpaca, which is just 100% alpaca yarn. This Drops Alpaca is like a fingering weight yarn, but I'm basically using, it doesn't have a color, it's just color 100, which is just basically off-white. So that's the color that I'm using. So Drops Alpaca, I'm holding it together with Drops Lima. Drops Lima is more of a worsted weight yarn. So you've got like a worsted weight and a fingering weight, which basically makes like an Aran weight yarn. So, or maybe a little bit more than an Aran weight yarn, I'm not sure exactly. But Drops Lima is a combination of 65% wool and 35% alpaca. And yeah, I'm just holding them together and yeah, I'm very excited about it. So yeah, so that's the inexpensive yarn that I'm using for the Emma and Kate's boyfriend sweater. All right, my third works in progress, you guys. I'm so excited to share it with you. This is what I like to call my perpetual work in progress. This is my Slip Stravaganza blanket. This is a design by Stephen West. Just for some context, I've been knitting the Slip Stravaganza blanket because I'm knitting the large version of this blanket. I have been knitting it for a little over 2 years. So, and if you don't know, the reason that I made this YouTube channel is to keep track of my progress with the Slip Stravaganza blanket. So, I actually have some progress today. So let's show you guys. I'm so excited. Gotta get it out of this big bag that it's in. It's in a huge, huge bag. Okay. Now, I still won't be able to stretch it out all the way out for you guys, but it's sitting on 2 needles. It's really, really huge. This is my Slip Stravaganza blanket. So the yarn that I'm using for this, I forgot to mention, is very, very inexpensive. It's an acrylic yarn by Valley Yarns. It's just their DK weight Valley Yarns acrylic. It's very, very cheap, very affordable, very affordable. And I'm just using 4 different colors. So my main color is the black. That's the main color. And then I'm using 3 different grays. So I'm using a silver, a gray, and a dark gray. So very, very simple in my opinion. But this is where I'm at on my Slip Stravaganza blanket. So I will pop up a picture here on the side so you can see what the finished blanket is supposed to look like. But you basically start from the middle and work your way out. And you do a few different design elements within the Slip Stravaganza blanket. The longest part so far for me has been the bubble section. And when I finished the bubble section, I posted it on Instagram because I was so excited about it. And then I just moved on to this section here, which are called columns. And in total, there's supposed to be 4 columns. And as you can see, I have 3 of them. So I'm almost done with the columns section. There's only going to be 4 columns, like I said, and then it moves on to the chevron border. So yeah, that's where I'm at. That's the progress that I've made on my Slip Stravaganza blanket. I think the last time I showed you guys this, I had just started the column section and it didn't look like anything. You couldn't see the design of the column section right here. But now you can because I've made some progress. So that's cool. That's exciting. Especially making progress over the summertime, and it's been so hot here in Washington. Hot for Washington. I know that there's other places that are way hotter, but hot for Washington. It's been hot up here. And if you've watched some of my other videos, you'll know that when I'm knitting this blanket, because of the size, because of how huge it is, as you can, it's bunched up, but it's huge. So because of how huge it is, when I'm knitting it, I actually have to drape it over my legs and use it as a big blanket, which it is, while I'm knitting it. But it can get really, really hot really, really fast. So I'm surprised, to be honest, that I have progress on this blanket in the middle of summer. But yeah, I do. So that's exciting. Alright, and the next and final thing that I want to show you is my acquisitions. Basically what I've purchased at the Fiber Fusion Northwest Festival about 3 weeks ago. So these are all of the things that I purchased at the festival. I'm very excited to share them with you. I haven't touched this bag since I brought it home. So yeah, this is going to be awesome. Alright, so there were so many vendors at the Fiber Fusion Northwest Festival. There were so many vendors, and I wanted to buy things that I knew I was gonna use, and I didn't want to buy too much yarn either, because I've been working on this year, as I said in the beginning of the year, I've been working on trying to get my stash down and start casting on some of the things that I had sitting and waiting for me to cast on that I haven't started yet. So I'm kind of wanting to work down my stash basically and not buy too much yarn in like over the year and see how I do. But I did buy some yarn, so let's show you. The first one that I bought here is this was a really cool farm that is, all of this yarn, by the way, is going to be local. So this is all local yarn. The first one here is Blackberry Heritage Fibers. Blackberry Hill Farm is in Granite Falls, Washington, and it's put together by Sue at Blackberry Hill Farm rather. You can buy this yarn online. They do have a website. I'll post the information in the description box down below. But Blackberry Heritage Fibers, I believe it's alpaca, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, it's pure Icelandic wool. Sorry. Pure Icelandic wool. It's homegrown DK Sport Weight 2-ply. There's 250 yards in each skein, and I purchased 2 skeins. It is this beautiful, beautiful gray, light gray color, and it's really, really soft. Like, it's 100% wool, but it's actually really, really nice. Like, it's really, really soft. I don't know why that is, but it's just like really, really nice. Anyway, I purchased this from the sweetest woman. Her name is Sue. She, like I said, she works at, she owns, I think, Blackberry Hill Farms and Blackberry Heritage Farms, rather. And yeah, she was just the sweetest lady, and I went ahead and purchased 2 of her skeins. And what's really cute about these skeins of yarns is they have the names of the sheep that they came from. So both of these skeins came from Acer and Angelica, and she said that Acer and Angelica are some of her oldest sheep on the farm, so that's kind of nice. They're old sheeps, but they're so cute. Anyway, that is the first yarn that I purchased. I don't know what I'm gonna make with this. I think I had an idea, but I'm not 100% positive what it was. Anyway, I'll figure it out, but this is some of the yarn that I purchased. The other yarn that I purchased, I actually saw this yarn on our way out of the festival as me and my mom I went with my mom, and as we were walking out of the festival, I just got sidetracked, and I saw this vendor that I didn't see when we were walking in, because you actually walk out the same way you walk in. But when we walked in, I got distracted by the animals that were there, and so I didn't see this vendor. But as we're walking out, I did see them. This is Compass Rose Farms. Again, they're local here to Washington State. They're in Jefferson County, Washington, which the North Olympic Peninsula. I don't know where that is, but I'm sure if you look it up, you can look it up. Compass Rose Farms over on the North Olympic Peninsula. They are a local grown farm. This is the yarn that I purchased. It is incredibly gorgeous. I was so drawn to this yarn. This is 90% Icelandic wool and 10% alpaca. And as you can see, it's mixed. So you've got this beautiful dark brown mixed with this beautiful light brown, and it just looks like coffee, and it's, oh my gosh, it's awesome. And it's obviously a chunkier yarn, so it's a bulky weight. This is their color espresso, and yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. Compass Rose Farms is in Port Townsend, Washington, and I might have to take a drive up there and go visit them, because they were just the sweetest ladies, and they were so nice, and just they had the most beautiful skeins of yarn. So I purchased one skein. I do plan on making a hat with this yarn. I'm just not sure what that pattern is going to be. If you have a pattern for a chunky knit hat that only takes one skein, please let me know. I have 100 yards exactly in one skein of this yarn, so I'm sure I can make a hat, a chunky hat with this. I'm just not I just don't have a pattern. So if you have something in mind, let me know and I'll check it out. Anyway, that's one of the skeins that I purchased. All right, the next yarn that I purchased, this is the last yarn that I purchased, but the next yarn that I purchased from Geektastic Fibers. Again, Geektastic Fibers is again a local yarn dyer here in Washington State. It doesn't have information for where Geektastic Fibers is located, but I do know they're local here. I purchased a sock set from them. It is a sock set that's really cool looking, very Christmassy. It's called the Elf sock set. It's a self-striping yarn. The green is the self-striping yarn, and the red is the contrast color here. So I don't have a pattern yet that I want to make with this elf sock set that I purchased, but I thought it was really cute and so perfect for Christmas time. And I was telling the girl that I've actually never used a self-striping yarn before, so I have no idea how that knits up. I mean, I know what it's supposed to look like, it's self-striping, but I've never done a self-striping yarn before, so that's going to be super fun. If you have a pattern, if you have a pattern in mind that I could make with this elf sock set for Christmas time, let me know. I will check it out, but I just thought these colors were so fun. So I purchased that from Geektastic Fibers. Alright, a couple of other things that are not yarn, but still crafty related. I purchased this really amazing goat milk lotion. This is from a local farm here in Washington State. Let me see, I think it's called Little Rock and Heart Dairy Farms. It doesn't say exactly where they're located, but I do know that they're local. These are all natural ingredients, super cool. It's fresh goat's milk, shea butter, argan oil, avocado, and vitamin E, and some other things. And I purchased their winter cream, and it smells like wintergreen, like the wintergreen gum is what it smells like. And oh yeah, it's really nice. So goat's milk lotion, if you've never used goat's milk lotion, it is amazing. It is so nice. I highly recommend goat's milk lotion, especially for those of you that use your hands a lot and have dry hands. It's perfect for that. It's so awesome. So I purchased some lotion. I also purchased this little Notion here. Now I can't remember the name of the shop or the name of the lady that I purchased this from. I'm so sorry. If I find the information rather, I will post it in the description box down below. But it's a really cool needle gauge thing. So what do you call that when you stick your needle in it to see what size your needle is? I can't remember what you call that. Needle gauge? Something like that. Anyway, it's basically one that you can carry with you because it's got this little thing here. You can carry it as a keychain or just put it on your bag or something like that. But it's so cute. She does these really cool woodworking designs. As you can see, mine is like some flowers and the moon, and then it's got the needle gauges right here. Anyway, just purchased that from her. So cute. I purchased another yarn kit, but it's a small yarn kit. So I'm very excited to show it to you. I purchased this from the there was a bunch of local yarn shops that I know I visited before, up at the Fiber Fusion Northwest Festival, and I purchased this little yarn kit from Stranded by the Sea. Stranded by the Sea over in Everett, Washington. I have visited them before, and in my last Puget Sound local yarn shop tour video, the first one that I did, they are featured in that yarn shop video. So if you want to check out that yarn shop, go ahead and look back on that video. But they were at the festival, and I purchased this cute little Archie and Tula spider sock set from them. Isn't that cute? They're the cutest little spiders. It comes with a little tiny skein of yarn here, some beads, all the fun stuff and the filling and everything to make the little spiders. And the pattern, of course. So Archie and Tula. Archie, I think, is the smaller one, and Tula is the larger one. And if you don't know, people that know me will know this, but I love spiders. Like, oh my god, they are the coolest. They're so awesome. I love them. Spiders are amazing. Like, if you're one of these people that are scared of spiders, and let's face it, that's the majority of people, I think that spiders are so awesome. Spiders are so cool, and some of them can be really interesting looking and really pretty even, and so cute. So I loved this. This was perfect for me. Archie and Tula, I'm going to knit them up, and they're going to be so cute. So that's a little yarn kit that I purchased. Alright, the next thing that I purchased is also not a yarn. It is a mug. But I purchased this, I forget the name of the shop that I purchased this from. If I find the information, I will put it in the description box down below. But this is the mug that I purchased from them, or from her. It's awesome. So it's a huge mug. If you can see how big it is, it's huge. And it says, "Whips and chains excite me." I thought that was funny. So that's the cup that I purchased. It's also in my favorite color. My favorite color is green, especially dark green. So I love it. Whips and chains excite me. It's my new favorite cup. Last thing that I purchased is a yarn bowl. It's all wrapped up. Alright, this is my yarn bowl. I will put the information in the description box down below for where you can find these vendors, but this is my awesome yarn bowl. Isn't it so cool? This is my first yarn bowl. I've never had one before, but I bought this one here. Now, this gentleman is an Indian gentleman, and I've seen his work before where he does these really cool, like, knitted things with his ceramics, and I think that that is so awesome and cool. So I've been wanting to purchase from him for a little while, but I finally did it. Yeah, his name is on the bottom here, Sharon Sakshar. And so this is one of his pieces. It's a beautiful ceramic yarn bowl. It's actually got, it's big enough for 2 skeins of yarn, as you can see, and it's got yarn areas on both sides. So one on this side, one on this side, and if you have a 2 skein project, you could put it in here and pull the yarn out of both ends. I think that's really awesome. So anyway, this is my awesome yarn bowl that I purchased. So cool. Can't wait to use it. Alright, and that is about it, you guys. I don't have anything else to show you or share with you. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you can come back to watch some more podcasts as I have them up. I'm going to try to make a podcast with every month with my monthly makes. So don't hold me to it, but I'm going to try my hardest to make a podcast on the monthly basis to share with you guys everything that I made in the month. So I'll try to do that for the month coming up, August. So I'll try to do that at the end of August. So it might be a little while before I have another video, but I'm visiting the new festival, the new yarn festival here in Washington State, called the Flock Fiber Festival. That is coming up this weekend. This coming weekend on Friday, Saturday, Sunday will be the Flock Fiber Festival up in Seattle, Washington. And me and my mom and my mom's friend are going to go. We're going to go on Saturday and Sunday, and I do plan on doing some filming of that festival. So I plan on filming that festival probably on Saturday, probably our first day going, just so I can kind of get it out of the way. But I do plan on filming that festival. If you don't know, the Flock Fiber Festival is a brand new festival, so this is the very first year that Flock Fiber Festival is going on. So very exciting. Anyway, I do plan on doing that this weekend, so I will have that video out for you probably the following weekend at the latest. But yeah, that's all for now, you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for being here, and happy knitting. Bye!